Hey, what is going on, guys? So it is Monday, which means that it's time for another video. It's kind of cold out here, but let's get it done. This video today is about marriage, and I have to say I am very fortunate. I married the woman that I was looking for, so I'm very blessed. But I wanted to share some experience with you guys because marriage can be very difficult, and for on both sides, for both men and women. And I just wanted to give you the perspective from the man's point of view and why I see most couples struggling. So when a husband and wife get together, right, even before marriage, they are both the number one person in each other's lives for quite a while. And then typically what will happen is that we'll get married and then we'll have a child. And so when that child is born, what happens is that the male becomes number two at that point. And I find that that's like the most difficult part for most people. Now, when me and my wife decided to have kids, that's the exact word right there. When we decided to have kids or start to try and have kids, it was mutual. We were like, okay, it's time, and let's try and have a baby. So we did. And you don't have all the answers when you first start, so it can be kind of difficult. But I realized very early that if I spent all my spare time with my son, then I would also be spending all my spare time with my wife, because she's taking care of him, right? So he's now like the most important thing in both of our lives. But I have to understand that because of that, I'm going to receive less attention if I'm just focused on myself. So what I did was I made it more of a focus to spend more time with him, which then in turn made my family very strong. And I feel like this is the breaking point for some men. So if you're in a relationship and you're thinking about having kids, or you had kids and you feel like you're kind of just number two, well, guess what? You are. You're number two, but it's for a good reason. It's because you brought a baby into this world and they need to be cared for. So you need to do a better job at spending time with both your wife and your child. So once you get beyond that, then what happens is that over time we kind of just start to take each other for granted. And it's not malicious, and I know myself that I love my wife, like absolutely love her, but I don't say it all the time. Sorry about that, guys. But we start to take each other for granted, and it's just like the simple things, like just saying like how beautiful somebody looks today, or doing something out of the blue without being asked to. And listening too. That's really the big thing. Is like I'll just give you for example, like the dishes, and and keeping the kitchen clean and keeping a clean house. Like this stuff is like so important to my wife, and to me it's not really that important. But I realized that I needed to make more of a conscious effort to bring her more happiness, because at the end of the day it makes me happy too to see her smiling. And I feel like what happens is that we just get so used to each other and see each other every day that we just stop doing things that we did at the beginning that really made us feel loved. And that's what most people are looking for. It's that feeling. So I have one non-negotiable, and that is saying I love you. So I tell my wife that I love her every morning and every night. And even if we get into a discussion and one of us is upset afterwards, we'll still say it, because you just never know what's going to happen tomorrow. I might leave the house and be upset and get into an accident, and I'm no longer here, and that's a regret that maybe she'll have, that she didn't say it to me, or vice versa, that I didn't say it to her, and something happened to her. So I would never want that to happen. And so like that is so strong in me. And I feel like I see a lot of couples who miss that. And when I hear them get off the phone and they don't say I love you, it's almost like it's not gonna work out. It just can't. Love needs to be said. There's other things too. Like for me, the love part, of course, is so big. But why don't I tell my wife she's beautiful all the time? you know. And it just goes kind of back to that thing. It's like taking things for granted and just saying, well, she knows that I love her and she knows that I think she's beautiful, but you know what, I need to say it more often. And that's on me, and this is a change that I'm trying to make in my life. And I hope that you guys are listening and you decide to make that change too, because these women, man, they're everything. I mean, I don't want to say I'm nothing without my wife, but she's a big part of me. The reason I am the man I am today has a lot to do with her. And I envy her. I envy how smart she is. And, you know, I just really care about her. You know, so guys, listen, it's time to step it up and let's get something done. Let's just do something nice for our women and make them feel appreciated. Because, you know, at the end of the day, they're the ones who are raising our children. And all I want is, I want my kids to be successful and to be happy. And they can't have that if mom and dad aren't happy. So I want you guys to start working on these issues that you're having. So what you can do is, and which I actually just did recently, was I had to sit down with my wife and I said, hey, listen, you know, there's a few things that I'd like to talk to you about that I feel like if we discuss them, that we can just get to a mutual agreement and just be happier overall. You know, there's little things here and there that each partner does that could be upsetting. And so what we want to do is we want to make these small changes so that way we could both be, you know, much happier. So I told my wife, I said, listen, I'm going to be completely open and honest with you, and I want you to understand that it's coming from a good place and that I love you. But, you know, there's things that we should talk about, because if we neglect them, we don't have these conversations, things can fall apart really quick. And so personally, I feel like we were so far from that, but I'd love to just get a jump start on these things that could, you know, just weigh us down. You know, sometimes you just feel a certain way about a situation that has nothing to do with what your partner is actually thinking about. But since we're not open and honest, the mind just starts to wander, and it'll gravitate towards the worst possible case scenario. So anyway, this is my super long video, but this video is for my wife because I love her more than anything. And I hope you guys feel the same. Have a great day.